Hello and happy Sunday, everyone. I'm not sure if anybody's actually going to watch this live because I didn't say anything about having it live, so I'm keeping it like that. But I wanted to go over with you a little bit about the 5 year plan exercise and what exactly it was that I was looking for with the exercise and that I wanted you guys to get out of it. So if you see my eyes darting around a lot, it's because I'm looking at the questions and I want to read them directly so we can go through this together while you finish the assignment, if that's what you want to do. So the point of me having you do a 5 year plan is not necessarily because I want you to sit down and create this concrete 5 year thing where you're going to follow this to the T and it's going to be something that you live by for the next 5 years. I had a friend say recently to another friend, we were in a business organization together, and the one friend posted and said, man, if I had gone by my 5 year plan that I made when I was in grad school, you would consider my life to be a total failure right now because I didn't really do much of what I had said I wanted to on the plan. And the other friend came in and said, well, the purpose of 5 year plans is to break them. And there's a lot of truth in that. So when you go through something like this, part of the exercise is to figure out what you don't want to happen. And even the best laid plans are probably not going to come to fruition the way that you think they are. So part of this exercise from me to you is getting you guys to think about what are some of the steps along the way that might either trip you up or derail you or could potentially set you on a new path that you didn't even know that you wanted to necessarily be on. So the first step, I put choosing a major. Most of you have already committed to being a psychology undergrad, but if you know that you want to do something else for graduate school or elsewhere in your career, you can list that. Or if there's a particular area in psychology that you know that you want to do, you can list that. Like, you want to go into forensics or legal psychology or any of those types of things. You can list out that specifically, and maybe I'll be able to help you based on what you list there. What steps do you need to take to finish the major, and what specific classes do you need to take? What semester do you plan to take these courses in? So I ask this because I teach this course now. And I also teach the senior seminar, and I get a lot of students from every class that I teach, really, that come in frazzled. It's their last semester. They didn't know that they needed to take something, and now they're stuck last minute with either a really horrible option they didn't necessarily want to take, or the psych department somehow gets them into a class behind the scenes so they can finish it for their major. But planning it out semester by semester is always the best way to go about this. And I know that for juniors and seniors, juniors in specific, it's really hard to get into some of the classes that you want to take. And I learned a little hack when I was in undergrad, which was making friends with somebody who's in the honors college and having somebody who has an earlier enrollment date than you in general find the class that you want to take and enroll in it for you. And then when you get your appointment, you guys go in, you do like the 1-2 switcheroo thing. Now, because there's a waiting list thing now, I'm not sure how well this works. So you're going to want to get yourself on that waiting list first, then maybe have somebody grab the class for you, whatnot. But still an option. Think about it. There's a lot of ways kind of around the system. You just got to be creative because they love giving, especially juniors, the very last appointments. It sucks. It was not fun. So have you visited an advisor, and what are some questions you might need to ask prior to graduating? So I believe that the case advisement is in the Zeb building, which you're probably never going to have any other course or reason to go to the Zeb building other than for advising now. But they're all in one place, which is very convenient if you're double majoring in something. You've got all of the advisors under one roof. So if you want to double major in something or want to minor in something or considering graduate school in a different program, all of the advisors are there, I believe, on the second floor. Don't quote me on that one. But I believe that they're all there on the second floor together. So you're going to want to go up there and talk to somebody in advisement at least once before you graduate, just to make sure that you're on the right path to graduating. I'm not even sure, is that a requirement? I feel like it used to be a requirement that you had to see an advisor before you graduated anyways. That was probably one of those things that I cheated the system and got around. But there is also a career advisor who is in the main psychology office. And you can go in and see her. Her name is Andrea Green. Andrea Green. I'm not sure how she pronounces her first name. But you can go in and see her. Let me look up her information for you. It's just for the sake of giving you 100%. It's going to take forever. I'm going to get it. So her name is Andrea Green, and she is right in the main psych office. When you go to walk in, whatever the main psych office is, you look directly to your left as soon as you walk in, and she's in there. And her job is to help facilitate any questions you might have or the process for you getting into a career, either from your undergrad degree or your potential graduate degree, but she's there to advise you. And then the next question is, have you been to the psychology fair? And the chances are that you're going to answer no to that, because you're probably not going to know that it even exists. To be honest with you, I had absolutely no idea that it existed either until I was asked to speak at it. So the one this year is going to be on October 5th, which is, let's pull up a calendar here, is on a Friday. So it is going to be that Friday, and it should be an all-day event with different speakers, panelists on different topics, and just different information sources for you to figure out what you might want to do for graduate school or just with your degree in general. I have an hour of speaking where I'm going to be talking about graduate school and getting into grad school. Do you even need to go to grad school? That sort of thing, from, I believe it's about 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the morning. So I'll be there. You can come by, say hi to me in person if you're on campus. If not, I would check in with the department. They might be doing some sort of streaming like they do with the graduations. And in fact, I will go in and ask if there is a way that we can record it, especially for you guys that want to see what's going on in the fair, but might not be able to be on the actual campus. So if you are, go by. It's going to be good stuff. So that's the first category. Just basically some stuff that we've already touched on, just reiterating, what exactly do you want to do? Do you have any idea yet? Maybe you should find an idea, a little tiny bit of an idea, because you're going to need to know. So step 2, plan backwards. I found that the best way to figure out what you need to do, especially in terms of courses you might need to take or stuff with your academic plan or certifications you might need, it's to go and look at the end goal. Find the dream career that you have. Go look on Monster or Indeed or through Handshake on FIU, and go look at a job posting for something that you really want to do. And go look under the qualifications section and see what it says that is required for you to get that job. It's going to be really important in terms of planning backwards to figure out, what exactly do I need to do to be qualified to apply for this position? So for now, I'm asking you, what is the end goal at the end of 5 years? Could be to graduate, could be to have a job, could be to be in grad school, could be to be married and have absolutely nothing to do with academic life. Whatever it is. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to be judging you. And the second thing, how realistic is it to expect to achieve this goal in only 5 years? So part of goal setting theory, which is something that we talk about in organizational psychology, is setting realistic goals. So you want goals to be difficult, but you don't want them to be so difficult that they become insurmountable. And then you end up losing motivation to achieve the goals because you set them too high. And now you can't achieve them. You also don't want them to be too easy, because if something's too easy to do, you also lose motivation to do it. So you want it to be somewhere right in between that simple but ridiculously difficult level where there's attainability, but it still piques your interest. So saying something like, I'm going to graduate, I'm going to get into grad school, I'm going to graduate with my PhD, and I'm going to be employed in 5 years, not really realistic. Now, I'm going to graduate, I'm going to apply to grad school, I'm going to be in grad school. That's realistic. I'm going to apply to grad school, maybe I'll finish a master's degree. That's realistic. I'm going to do my BCABA and I'm going to be in the workforce. Also realistic. So you can also include other things that you plan to do there, like traveling and families and outside of work stuff. So what are you going to do during this semester to get closer to attaining your year 5 goals? So I want to know in specific what goals you plan to take on a semester to semester basis to be achieving these sorts of things. Maybe it is that you're going to go in and talk to Ms. Green about something involving career advising. Maybe it's that you're going to go to the psych fair. Maybe you're going to do some of these extra professional activities because they pique your interest. Something that actively engages you in figuring out what you're going to do for your future. And I know there are like a few of you who are here. I don't know who they are. I just see 4 or 5 people fluttering in and out. You can ask me stuff too in the middle of this. I'm not sure if you're going to need to or not, but you can. So break down your end goals by year. Below is a basic example. Be as detailed as possible in what you expect from each year and include any personal goals outside of your career. So just come up with, you don't have to put them in the circles. You can just write them out. Year 1, I plan to do this. Year 2, I plan to do that. Make them some sort of sequential, structured goal. And again, include anything from life that might not have anything to do with psychology or your career. So you don't want to be skipping steps. You want to make sure that there's some order and methods to what you're doing. So pretty easy so far, right? No right or wrong answers. Just want you to do it. Step 3, establish your experiences. What are your 5 most important life experiences thus far in college? This can be anything. So when I was an undergrad, some of my most important experiences were taking classes with particular professors that made me more engaged in what I was doing and more optimistic for the future. Some of it was organizations that I was involved in. And some things were nothing related to school, like traveling for the first time as somebody that had severe agoraphobia, flying to New York by myself and riding on the subway to Brooklyn in the middle of the night on my own. That was a pretty big life experience that I had while I was in college that helped shape me and make me feel a little bit more independent and capable. So there's different types of life experiences. You choose what are the most important ones to you. What have been your 3 favorite courses so far? Write a short paragraph about why each was so impactful to you. So again, these can be anything. It doesn't have to be in psychology. Just pick 3 things. And part of why I'm asking you to do this is because maybe in identifying the 3 things that you liked the most about courses in college so far will help you identify something that you might want to do in the future in terms of your career or schooling. So some of my favorite courses were in religious studies. I never ended up pursuing it because I didn't think that there would be any way for me to work in the field, let's be honest. So I ended up taking off with IO psychology, but one of my favorite classes was also the equivalent of my senior seminar, which was in IO psychology. So it was relevant. Have you joined any clubs or organizations on campus? What are some organizations that could be of use to you for your future? So I'll advertise mine a tiny bit. I'm not even sure what they still do on campus. I know they're really involved, but I joined a professional business fraternity. The one that I joined was open to all majors. It's called Alpha Kappa Psi. You pledge it kind of like you would any Greek organization, and they teach you all of the foundations of professional development and resume writing and public speaking and interviewing skills. And it builds like this little familial bond with other people that you end up keeping for life. So it was really impactful for me to get involved in that, especially as somebody that's an only child and didn't necessarily know a whole lot of people I also got involved in student government. There are a lot of different ways that you can get involved in that, and that opens up a lot of doors in terms of networking and people that are going to be something someday. So you are who you surround yourself with. You get into an organization like one of these, and you're going to be surrounding yourself with people that are driven to making themselves better. And all the actions that they take are making themselves better. They focus on school, they study, they want to be something when they leave college. So getting involved in an organization like that, surrounding yourself with like-minded people, it keeps you accountable to certain goals that you might have for the future. Have you volunteered with any organizations? If so, what did you do? So a lot of graduate schools and even some careers place a lot of emphasis on volunteering. If you plan to go into any of the types of therapy, occupational, physical, speech, whatnot, or into anything medical, you need to start accruing some volunteer hours. And there's a lot of different things in terms of like medical brigades that they do volunteering both locally and abroad. And almost every student organization on campus has some sort of philanthropy tied into it. It's kind of a necessity of being a part of the Council for Student Organizations. You have to do some volunteer hours as a group. So if you get involved in that, that's a good way to get some of those volunteer hours. It definitely never hurts. There's actually a service medallion that you can get for graduation where you get recognized for volunteering within the community at a certain level of hours. So any other relevant experiences, you can list them there. I'm realistic. You're probably not going to write anything else down. Step 4, learning new skills. What are the specific skills needed for your future? So say you want to become a counselor and you know you want to have your own business. You need to think about that above and beyond just what it's going to take for you to get that degree in counseling. You need to figure out also how you're going to establish the business end of that too. So you're going to have an office. You're going to have the overhead cost of rent and utilities and whatnot for whatever space you're going to need to use. You have to decide whether or not you're going to be doing your own receptionist work or you're going to have somebody come in, if you're going to work with a partner or work on your own. And you have to develop a general rubric for how you're going to handle your therapy sessions because everybody's different in terms of how they structure those sessions. So those are a lot of different skill sets that are outside of what they're going to teach you in your Master's of Science in Counseling or your PhD in counseling or whatever you do for counseling. Same with the behavior analysis thing, same if you want to be an occupational therapist. These are all positions where you're going to be opening your own business. So you've got to figure out what you're going to need to do that. And planning early is always better than getting out, trying to figure out what you're going to do with your degree and then realizing that you needed this background in these different things. So that's something that you can list there, especially if you want to work for yourself. Plan out how you're going to attain the skills. Elaborate on your plan from step 2. So there's an example there, just how are you going to go through this? If you do want to join an organization that prepares you for business related stuff, when are you going to join? What are you going to do in that organization? What different types of professional organizations might you join that might help you? What classes can you go to help you? That sort of stuff. And then step 5 is planning a career. And first I'm asking you, what are 3 careers you could see yourself working in? And I'm not asking you to go look. So say you wanted to do speech therapy. I'm not asking you for 3 different jobs within speech therapy. I'm asking you for 3 different careers. So maybe speech therapist is one of them, but there are other types of psychology that you might be interested in or other types of therapy that you might be interested in. I want you to explore 3 distinctly unique careers, just so that you have a chance of seeing what some of the basics are for those careers. So I want you to list them all out and you can tell me why it is that you want those 3 careers. What level of education do you need for each of these careers? So one resource you can use for this assignment is something called ONET. So it's onetonline.org. onet, onetonline.org. And I can post the link for you guys later. But you can go on there and essentially say, we're going to use speech therapists. Lots of you want to do that. You can go in to the website and type speech therapist in the search bar. And when you scroll down, all the way down to the bottom of the page, so let me go and do this as we go. Speech pathologist. So speech language pathologist is on there. And then when you scroll all the way down, you'll see a section that says job zone. And it gives you job titles. It says what the general education degree is required, like what level. So a master's, a PhD, a JD, like any of those types of things. And then it has other things like experience that they expect you to have, job training. And then you can go down and it'll show you the education by percentage of people that they have polled. And this is a very good organization. They know their stuff, so you can count on the accuracy of this. So 81% of speech pathologists have a master's degree and 19% have some sort of certification beyond a master's degree. So you're looking at, if you want to do speech pathology, you kind of have to have the master's degree. There's nobody that responded that had just a bachelor's degree in this. There's a section for credentials where you can find the different types of certifications and licenses you need. And then all the way at the bottom, you can see something that says wages and employment trends. So you can go in and look at how the general job market is trending with that, how much you can make with that degree. And then there's actual links to finding jobs. So this section, if you're struggling to figure out what it is that you want to do, definitely utilize that website, onetonline.org. Third thing, what can you achieve while completing your bachelor's degree that will give you the experiences you need to get an entry-level job in these careers? So something like the BCABA. They have that RBT certification that you can do. Speech pathology has that 1 year thing after the bachelor's degree that you can go and look into what courses do you need to take. If you're doing pre-med, there's certain prerequisites that you need to get done. If you're doing law school, you have to figure out how you're going to get all of your applications and whatnot done through that specific law school system. So regardless of what career it is that you select, even if it's something that only requires a bachelor's degree, and maybe it's that you want to be a stay-at-home mom or dad. You know, I had a student who I asked, what do you guys want to do? And he said he wanted to be a stay-at-home dad. And it was awesome. But that also requires planning, because how are you going to do that if you're not making any money anywhere else? So different things you got to figure out. And then at the bottom, I've noted that you should keep all of your life goals in mind when you're doing something like this, because if you don't find a way to balance out your education and your career and whatnot, you're going to go slightly crazy. Unless you're one of those people that really thrives on being a workaholic, but still other aspects of your life are going to suffer if you put too much of an emphasis on one area over another. Me, I put a little too much emphasis on the sleep area. And sadly, it dictates a lot of my life. I'm not going to lie, it does. So I should probably put a little bit more focus on the social area, because I never see anyone. Except for you guys, but I can't see you. But I'm here. I put more effort into talking to you on here than I do interacting with real people. But make sure that you have some sort of balance. See, I had to throw something weird in there somewhere. I assume the me too from somebody named Me and My Old Soul is that you don't interact with people. And you just watch things like YouTube, and that's your means of interacting. If they had a fully online bachelor's degree when I was in bachelor's level classes, I probably would have done that. But in general, if you guys have any questions about this or anything else, just shoot me a message. I'm always here. I have the Canvas app on my phone, so I see every single time, every single one of you do an assignment, do a quiz, write a message, breathe, eat, sleep. Yep, it tells me. Canvas notifies me of everything. So just shoot me a message. In terms of that grading stuff, just write to me. I'm super flexible. You're not going to fail the class because you missed a submission on something. So, oh, I got John too. Got John and Michelle. What's up, guys? What's up? Your icon is purple just like me. Anyways, the plan is due by next Sunday. Oh, I got 3 people now. Oh, look at that. Got 3 of you. But now I'm going to say goodbye because I've said all I need to say. I hope you guys had a great weekend and you have a great week and do your assignments.